Good morning, everyone. This is Mo from Mo in the Deep End, and we have some newsy news. It is the 15th of May, and welcome, Wolfram. All the mod stuff that you do is greatly appreciated. Good morning, Fraudit Wrangler and Tammy. I know that you're going to be doing physical therapy, but do your best and it will definitely help, I think. Most of the time it does. Jeffrey Montgomery, thank you. I have no idea what's going on uh, with YouTube. No idea. Cynthia, welcome and thank you for your service. Squad Bob, thank you for doing mod stuff. And let's see here. Phoenix Fire, and I have questions about everything. And Slinky, good morning. So before we get into the news, I thought I'd tell you something funny because, as you know, the boys are famous for making things up and doing hilarity. I was driving the boys into their second to last day of school, and they were arguing about brownies, so I wasn't really paying attention. And then one of my sons, the middle son, said, "I will never let my kids lick brownie batter because you're going to get salmonella to come to your house." So then my youngest said, "Well, who are Sal and Ella, and why do they care that I'm eating brownies?" And I said, "No, it's salmonella, and it you could possibly get it from eggs." And he's like, "So there's not people that are gonna come over?" It's just like, "Oh, summer's gonna be a long one. I can just tell." Anyway, for your morning chuckles, there you go. On, terrible news, and as it seems most often, the people that are the impaired drivers cause a wake of destruction bigger than themselves with echoes and ripples across, so many families. Chris Rowland, welcome. So, don't drive drunk. I think that's a rule we can all get behind. But it turns out that the pickup driver who caused the major bus, like school bus size crash, was impaired and survived. The driver of the pickup truck that slammed into a bus carrying migrant farm workers, killing 8 of them, has been arrested, Florida authorities said. Brian McLean Howard, 41, was allegedly impaired when he crossed his 2001 Ford Ranger into the center line on State Road 40 and sideswiped into a bus, forcing it off the road at around 6:40 a.m. The bus then crashed through a fence and barreled into a tree before it overturned, Florida Highway Patrol said. 8 workers were killed and at least 40 more were injured. My hearts go out my heart goes out to those families that lost, loved ones, and also to all the people that, may have sustained lifelong injuries that they will have to learn to deal with. The farm workers were 8 miles away from their jobs at a family-owned Canton farm in Dunleon, which was harvesting watermelons before the tragedy struck. Juan Sabines of the Mexican consulate based in Florida said the fatal victims were all from Mexico and had been in the U.S. on temporary work visas, WKMG reported. One of the victims leaves behind a 1-year-old daughter, Sabines reportedly said. The identity of the slain workers would be released once family members are notified. Howard, who has had past run ins with the law and was charged with 8 counts of driving under the influence, you know, I would like a 2 strikes you're out on DUIs or DWIs. I know that sounds harsh, but it just affects so many people. It's just ridiculous. And this is what the site looked like. I mean, his car relatively undamaged. This bus was demolished. I mean, it is irritating in the highest. He was previously arrested for driving with a suspended license for leaving the scene of an accident and oh, sorry, that would be The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, which is my new cleaning, soundtrack, and I struggle to remember why I forgot that great album, but I don't wanna get copyright struck. Cannon Farms closed operations for the day as the result of the crash. Quote, "Please pray with us for the families and loved ones involved in this tragic accident. We appreciate your understanding at this difficult time," Cannon Farms said in a social media post. A GoFundMe page has raised more than $20,000 for the victims and their families since the Farm Worker Association began to push it earlier Tuesday. Quote, "Farm workers tend to be forgotten, but it's important not to forget farm workers, especially during such difficult times." I absolutely, Fun Diane. I can't imagine, and it's also I don't know if other parents don't sit their kids down, but I made sure to sit my girls down and say, you know, when you are in a car, you are operating a, you know, billion-pound, you know, weapon. You can choose to be safe with it, or you can choose to possibly, you know, end someone's life just because you weren't paying attention. So pay attention. It's something that, I drill into them constantly. You are in charge of a very, very, a responsibility, but you need to treat it as a responsibility. I didn't make them watch, Spider-Man. With great power comes great responsibility, at least. So there you go. Well, what is family for but to sue each other, I guess? A Mega Millions winner is being sued by his family for breaking a promise to share a $1.35 billion jackpot. Well, I mean, if you promised, did you pinky promise? I think will be the, you know, mitigating factor, because if you pinky promised, it's just, it's not official till you pinky promise. More money, more problems. A Maine man who won one of the biggest lottery jackpots in American history has been accused of stiffing his family for their promised share of the loot, including backpedaling on setting up $1 million trust fund and covering medical expenses for his father. The unidentified man who bought the winning ticket in Lebanon, Maine on January 13th last year before striking it rich with the 1.35 billion Mega Millions jackpots, has been in a legal battle with his daughter's mom since November, when he was accused of violating her non-disclosure agreement, or when he accused her of violating a non-disclosure agreement by telling the rest of the family about his newfound fortune before their daughter's 18th birthday in 2032, according to The Independent. Good morning, Celestial Force. Uh, But in new court filings, the mom, identified by a pseudonym, Sarah Smith, claims he was the one who spilled the beans about the historic win to his family, not her. The lucky man's father buttressed Smith's claim, saying his son told them about his victory before rattling off the things he planned to do with the spoils, which the outlet said he collected through an LLC in a sum of more than $500 million. February or March of 2023, my son came to the house and informed me and my wife that he had won a large amount of money in the Maine state lottery, his father wrote in court documents, according to the outlet. I understand that my son has stated that he told me nothing about his money other than the simple fact that I had won, the dad wrote. That is not true. The father claims he didn't ask for money. But that didn't stop the newly minted half billionaire from allegedly making a litany of unsolicited high dollar purchases, including building his dad a garage to fix up old cars, buying his childhood home, setting up $1 million trust fund, and funding future medical expenses for his dad and stepmom. His son also allegedly demanded he not speak to Smith, his granddaughter's mother, ever again, which created a rift between the two, the Independent said. I told him, quote, "You're not the son I knew," the dad wrote in a filing. He got angry and called me a dictator and an a-hole. I've not heard from my son since, and he hasn't done any of the things he promised. His son describes it differently in his own findings or filings. Quote, I made the mistake of telling my father I'd won the lottery without having him sign a confidentiality agreement, the lotto winner wrote. Our relationship deteriorated quickly thereafter, he continued. I did not tell him what I was going to do with my money or how I was going to benefit my daughter or any facts other than the simple fact that I had won. He also accuses his baby mama of trying to reveal his identity to the world and said she accused him of trying to kidnap their daughter after he wouldn't pay for a vacation for her and her boyfriend. Good Lord. Y'all, I am telling you, if I win the lotto, which would be insane because I don't know if it's just me, but the social anxiety of possibly keeping the line behind me in the gas station, waiting while I try to figure out the lottery is about the biggest prevention I ever need to stop gambling. I don't gamble, I don't start gambling, but I probably wouldn't tell anyone either. I mean, that's the thing. I think people unfortunately look at people differently if they have money and they don't have money, and I just wouldn't want to deal with the drama. I mean, there might be signs though, like if I get all the Sailor Moon stuff, there will be signs. In a update to our story of why we can't have nice things, well, I guess I guess the portals are down. Although we did in America manage to send nudes, so there you go. Organizers pull the plug on the NYC Dublin portal for now as raunchy behavior runs rampant. Again, what did you expect? You could have put it in Piedmont, North Dakota and Dublin, and still think you'd get the same kind of thing. Just saying. I mean, did we not learn our lesson from the "He will not divide us"? I mean, we made Shia LaBeouf turn like Shiite Catholic. You know, this was not a good idea. This was only going to be used for shenanigans. That didn't take long. The plug has been pulled on the New York City to Dublin portal for now as raunchy and revolting behavior has run rampant on the 24/7 live stream. The portal shut down Tuesday evening, and staffers will work over the next few days to minimize the shocking content. One of its organizers, the Flatiron Nomad Partnership, told the Post in a statement, quote, instances of inappropriate behavior have come from a very small minority of portal visitors and have been amplified on social media, they said. In New York, we have a set of protocols in place since the portal's launch, including 24/7 on site security and barriers to prevent people from stepping onto the portal. Well, there you go. The portal team and our partners in Dublin are working on additional solutions to limit such behavior appearing in the live stream. Dublin will be encouraged to add barricades on this device, a source told the Post Tuesday. The interactive art installation located in the Flatiron district will have another device located in Dublin opened last Wednesday to much fanfare, but it soon deteriorated into a chaotic cesspool that mostly came from the Irish side. Look, I have listened to the Lotus Eaters, and this seems to be normal Irish behavior from what they said. And, I do like a little bit of mad lad behavior, so I'm kind of okay with it. But I can understand how people would not be comfortable with a guy mooning people or, drunks grinding on this portal. I can understand that if I were with my children, this would not be something I'd want to do. Uh, Now, the appalling overseas antic included one knucklehead flashing an image of 9/11 and another jerk displaying the emblem that the hankety-clankety people used in World War II. But New York's side was not completely blameless, and OnlyFans model obnoxiously posted a video to her 400,000 followers on Instagram on Sunday that showed her, well, flashing the Dublin side. I mean, she's just trying to bring peace and joy to the other side of the world. This is why we can't have nice things, and I'm kinda here for it, it's absurdist clown theater. I'm okay with it. The project was touted as a, quote, "bridge to unite the planet," end quote, that allows passerbys to see each other on the 8 by 8-foot video screen, but not hear each other. Oh, we definitely need to add audio. This is gonna be awesome. I say you just call it the shenanigans stream. Look, nothing brings us closer together than, flashing and mooning across distances. I think we need to add audio, and then we can add ish talking across the planet. You guys just need to reframe it. This is the shenanigans portal, and, what brings us all together but shenanigans? Let's see. The portal was temporarily shut down Monday after organizers blamed a technical glitch as Dublin City Council vowed to find solutions to address naughty behavior. A Post reporter observed the portal shut off around 8 p.m. Monday before the Tuesday development. I mean, who hasn't wanted to give a middle finger to New York in their life? And why did they put the portal next to, like, the pub crawl? It just seems like you're asking for shenanigans. A 27-year-old finance worker said Monday he was disappointed the portal was closed. Quote, "I was just going to look. I really had no game plan. Just walk up and see how I'm feeling. Haske May told the Post, "We wanted to see the portal and just walk around and get inside." May was not surprised by the lewd behavior. Anything that's open, that's like you can kind of do whatever, he said. It's only a matter of time before it's used for things it shouldn't be used for. It's kind of expected, to be honest. Organizers are considering closing the portal late at night once it reopens to minimize absurd acts, told the Post. The attraction has drawn tens of thousands of visitors and resulted in more than a billion impressions online its first week. Flatiron Nomad Partnership said the overwhelming majority of the visitors to the portal have behaved appropriately and experienced the sense of joy and connectedness that this work of public art invites people to have. I don't know about that. Just seeing people and not be able to hear them kinda takes away from that human connection. I know I'm more of an auditory listener or learner, so I absorb a lot just by listening, and we need to have sound with this. I can only imagine the shenanigans that will go on. But, yeah, we just can't have nice things, and in this perfectly confirms my, bias, so I will let you know that I am completely biased against electric cars, and here's the reason why. I had to drive Mr. Mo's Prius. You don't even know when the damn thing's on. I mean, they need to add, like, a clinking sound, and the park is not on the little drive stick, no, it's a button. Who does that? Who in actual hell does that? Anywho, rant over. I'm just saying, it's weird and creepy and Black Mirror-y to drive a vehicle you can't hear. Just doesn't work. But this confirms my bias, so I'm giving you this article. It's a real thing. Drivers and passengers report motion sickness in EVs. Well, it's more like not paying a bunch for gas since he has to drive a little bit to get to work is our thing. Let's see. The oft-touted advantage of owning an electric vehicle is of one-pedal driving when the drivers can slow down a vehicle simply by lifting off the throttle. But as more Americans swap their gas-powered cars and trucks for an EV, they are also realizing there's some drawbacks to this one-pedal lifestyle. Quote, "It can cause some people to become sick." John Volker, a former editor of Green Cars Reports and contributing editor of Car and Driver, told ABC News. Quote, "Strong regenerative braking, which captures max energy, can cause motion sickness. There's a learning curve to lifting off the accelerator in an EV. You have to modulate it." Oh, well, if there's an extra thing and you have to use extra brain things, I'll just stick with my fossil fuel car. I'm just saying. Volker said that he felt queasy at least twice while riding in the back seat of a Tesla. The drivers didn't know how to modulate the Tesla's strong regen braking. He recalled, I was thrown around a little bit. Ed Kim, president and chief analyst of Auto Pacific, says Teslas are the worst offenders because they can be very jerky and really abrupt. Quote, most automakers have tuned the throttles to be jumpy in EVs to emphasize the power, but the side effect is that they can lurch and make some occupants carsick. So you have to be careful on how you apply the throttle. If not, it can lead to an abrupt seesaw motion for passengers. I'm out. I'm out. I'm okay with it. Oh, in '98, you were having a Super Bowl party at your apartment, had all your buddies over, and my wife was drinking with us. 3 hours in, she well, she was just very happy that whoever in sports ball was winning. It's Captain Kern, it's called team spirit. Kim said his wife has gotten nauseous in the Tesla Model Y, and he's heard of similar experiences from other motorists. The extremely quick acceleration of EVs can be disorienting to Americans who have learned how to drive with a gasoline engine. EVs have so much more torque that you tap the throttle and the thing just takes off. I've never experienced that in my Ford, was it Fusion? Look, I call it a Ford F-it, but it goes 0 to 60, uh, in 2 days. Like, I'm like, "Look, I am sorry, I am trying to accelerate, but this car just takes a while." Dr. DJ Verrett, an ear, nose, and throat doctor in Texas, says motion sickness in EVs is a real thing. Thank you, Fraudit Wrangler, for the super chat. Good morning. Great to see you and everyone. I made you folks some great content for the day. Please have a great day. That is awesome. Deborah came here to become Mo shamed. You know who deserves shame? And this is okay, tangent engaged, but I have been looking through the Scott Peterson response, and the DA must have, the snark was with them because some of the titles to these, the table of contents is just a gem of snark and sass. And if that's the way the whole document's going to go, I'm going to have so much fun reading it because they were not subtle in their snarkitude, and I am here for it. They were fully into the pettyverse. So there you go. You have to learn how to drive EVs. This totally is a confirmation bias thing, and I am done with this story. In what in the Snake Island am I looking at here? Quote, it turned into a family affair. A man unalived his girlfriend after she discovered his secret marriage. Then his relatives help him dispose of the body. Okay. I mean, I guess the family that slays together stays together. I don't know. I'm a little confused as to how this became like instead of Scrabble night, it's hide the body night. Which, every family is different, but this seems a little too much of family togetherness. I sorry. A man choked his girlfriend to death in Georgia after she confronted him about secretly marrying another woman, and then stuffed her body in a suitcase, drove to Tennessee, where they burned her body and discarded her remains in 2 different areas. This woman, I feel so sorry for their family. I mean, now the family really has nothing to give her a proper burial, and it's just gross. I do hope that these 2, even though they're presumed innocent, Snake Island, just naked and afraid. I don't care anymore. His family helped cover his tracks, police said. Clayton County Police arrested Michael Edwards for the murder of Brianna Winston at their apartment in College Park, Georgia. Clayton County Police Lieutenant Ashante Marbury said at a press conference on Monday that Edwards showed up to the apartment early in the morning on March 17th, and the two began arguing about his infidelity when he gave her a very firm neck hug. You know, I'm still traumatized from arachnophobia, so I think that would be a good addition. This is when Edwards, 23, allegedly enlisted the help of his wife and brother and mother to help cover his tracks. Quote, it turned into a family affair. He definitely looped everyone into this crime, Marbury said. After Edwards allegedly stuffed Winston's body into a suitcase, his wife, Brianna, wait, so you had a girlfriend named Brianna and a wife named Brianna? Do you just love chicks with B names? I'm just asking for a friend. But I guess that would be better because, if one says, "Hey, that's a different name," you just say, "Look, phonetics is hard." Let's see. So then they used his car to drive to his house in Tennessee. Once there, uh, he and his wife doused the suitcase with gasoline and lit it on fire, Marbury said. The blaze lasted for several hours, according to Marbury. Then Edwards and another man allegedly dumped portions of her body in a cemetery and along a road. You gross, disgusting human beings, allegedly. First of all, you robbed a family of their beautiful, beautiful child. I mean, because look at that picture. She just looks like she's having a great time, feeling sassy. And then you roped your wife, your mama, your cousin into the whole thing. So y'all are all going to be in the penitentiary together, allegedly, or possibly soonerly. Marbury said prosecutors gave the man who helped Edwards burn Winston's body immunity in exchange for information leading to the arrest of Edwards and his family members. Cops arrested Edwards on an unrelated aggravating stalking charge on April 8th. Dude, this guy, sir, there is a zip code. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's called Town Do Right. Have you ever visited in any part of your life? The survey says no. I cannot. While in jail, Edwards reportedly called Philip Edwards and told her to burn his shoes and a pair of gloves. His wife, along with his brother Killian Wright, 18, and his mother, 40-year-old Ebony Anderson, allegedly burned the items to destroy evidence. Phillips Edward is facing charge of conspiracy to commit a crime and then party to a commission of a crime. Edward's brother and mom are facing conspiracy charges. Winston's family reported her missing on April 1st. The Clayton County Police Department said the family went to her apartment and found that Edwards, the father of her 4-year-old child, had completely cleaned out their apartment. Lord, I hope that 4-year-old child is okay. I mean, as much as you can be okay when you've lost your mother to violence, because your father doesn't even serve the purpose to convert CO or oxygen into CO2 plant food. I just can't. One family member told Atlanta Fox affiliate WAGA that the apartment reeked of bleach. Her family also learned that she had never shown up to work on March 17th. By April 26th, police felt they had enough information to determine that Winston was not alive, saying she was, quote, victim of a crime that left her incapacitated in some way, end quote. Cops named Edwards and his wife as persons of interest in the disappearance. Marbury said that the investigation led them to Ripley, Tennessee, about 430 miles from the murder scene, where they recovered Winston's body at the cemetery and along the road. The last few months have been difficult for Winston's family. Quote, I've just been crying every night because I wasn't there to help her, end quote. Her cousin Jasmine Walker told Atlanta News First. I wasn't going to sleep until she was found, and I'm not going to give up until justice is served. Hopefully, that beautiful 4-year-old is with her family and not his family. In some better news, the accomplishments of this young lady are just awesome. A Chicago teen entered college at 10, and at 17, she's earned a doctorate from Arizona State. So, what an amazing accomplishment and just awesome. This is just great. Dorothy Jean Tillman II's participation in the Arizona State University May 6th commencement was the latest step on the higher education journey the Chicago teen started when she took her first college course at 10. In between, she came an associate's, a bachelor, and a master's degree. When Tillman successfully defended her dissertation in December, she became the youngest person at the age of 17 to earn a doctoral degree in integrated behavioral health at Arizona State. Associated Professor Leslie Manson told ABC's Good Morning America for a Story Monday. Quote, "It's a wonderful celebration, and we hope that Dorothy Jean inspires more students," Manson said. But this is still something so rare and unique. Tillman, called Dorothy Janus by family and friends, is the granddaughter of a former Chicago elderwoman, Dorothy Tillman. When most students are just learning to navigate middle school, her mother enrolled Tillman in classes through the College of Lake County in northern Illinois, where she majored in psychology and completed her associate's degree in 2016, according to her biography. Tillman earned her bachelor's in humanity from New York's Excelsior College in 2018, and about 2 years later, she earned her master's of science from Unity College in Maine before being accepted into the 2021 Arizona State's Behavioral Health Management Program. Most of her classwork was done remotely and online. Tillman did attend her Arizona State commencement in person and addressed the graduating class during the ceremony. Tillman told the Associated Press on Tuesday that she credits her grandmother and trusting her mother's guidance for her educational pursuits and successes. Quote, "Everything we're doing didn't seem abnormal to me or out of the ordinary until I started getting all the attention," said Tillman, who is now 18. "There have been sacrifices, though. Quote, I didn't have the everyday school things like homecoming dances or spirit weeks or the school pictures, things like that, that kind of create unity with my peers," she said. She found time to dance and do choreography. Tillman is also the founder and chief executive of Dorothy Janus STEM Leadership Institute. The program includes summer camps designed to help young people in the arts and STEM subjects. She said her plans include public speaking engagements and fundraising for the camp, which Tillman says she hopes to franchise one day. Tillman's motivation has innovative ideas, said Manson, adding, quote, "And truly, I think what's inspiring is that she embodies that meaning of being a true leader." Jamlita Tillman said she was most impressed with her daughter's ability to show herself and her success with grace, but to also understand when to put the foot down when choosing between social outings and her education. So, what an absolute cool thing. Uh, at 10 years old, I think I was slowly, I think I was actually just hanging around my on my bike. I wasn't doing anything substantive. So there you go. In a warning that I can imagine is every parent's worst nightmare, uh, when it rains, when it floods, and you're in a low-lying area, do not play in the still water. Do not try to drive over the still water. This accident, I can't imagine it is a worst nightmare for a parent, and I am just terrible. I hope that this will have a happy ending, but I am not sure. A Tennessee boy pulled into a storm drain is not breathing on his own, dad says. A family is praying for a miracle after 10-year-old Asher Sullivan was swept into a storm drain after a severe weather event. Jimmy Sullivan said on Facebook that his son was playing outside while neighbors fixed their homes and cleaned debris after a storm tooth, to, tore through Christiana, Tennessee, where, quote, somehow Asher got caught in the storm drain and was swept under the neighborhood streets. Quote, he eventually came out in a drainage ditch and CPR was administered for quite some time. Jimmy Sullivan told Facebook his heartbeat was reestablished, but the damage is substantial. Jimmy Sullivan, Superintendent Director of Schools with the Rutherford County School District, has been posting regular updates, and his family are holding on to the slightest glimpse of promise. But he said Sunday that recovery does not seem possible. This is so sad. But do be mindful. This can happen. Teach your kids to stay away from storm drains and things like that. Because when I was a kid, I would have been like, outside pool, you know? I would have run through it. I mean, it seemed like a total kid thing to do. I could see my, youngest, most feral running through a big giant puddle because it's not something you see so much. So I can understand the absolute boyish innocence, curiosity and play. And unfortunately, it's very dangerous. Sullivan wrote on Friday that the doctor told his family Asher, quote, wouldn't survive his injuries. But neurology saw a few signs, such as a pain response in his arms and pupils reacting to light. Later that same day, Sullivan said his son breathed on his own for the second time while on a ventilator. Only a few, but a win is a win. And I hope with all my heart that he can make a recovery, but it's so sad. Uh, we think we need to leave him alone for the night to rest, he wrote at a 6:30 p.m. post on Friday. On Sunday, uh, the faintest hint of hope dimmed even more. Quote, neurological signs we were receiving as positives have stopped, he said. Asher had some tough moments with pulse, blood pressure, and breathing, Sullivan wrote on a Facebook post Sunday shortly after 6 p.m. The same Sunday evening, Sullivan posted a picture of his family holding hands. Unfortunately, the worst case scenarios seem to have come true, the father wrote in a heartbreaking post. He's not in imminent danger at this very moment, but recovery does not seem possible. He said that he and his wife, Casey, quote, have some impossible decisions to make in the next few days that no parent should have to face. Pray for our family and our sweet Asher. Look, I will include him in my prayers. I'm not asking you to become religious, but if you want to pray to the universe, spaghetti monster, or whatever you feel is appropriate, please put positive thoughts and, just all the grace for this family. I couldn't imagine having to make that choice for my child, and it's not something any parent wants to do. Nurses woke up Asher's parents to say he had stopped breathing on his own. His eyes were not responsive, according to a Monday Facebook post. Monday night was much the same, Sullivan said. Asher's tragic accident happened after his hometown in the middle of Tennessee was devastated by tornadoes, severe storms, and floods on May 8th and 9th. Quote, several waves of severe thunderstorms, including many supercells, impacted mid-state during this period, the National Weather Service said. Altogether, this event resulted in widespread wind damage across nearly every county of Middle Tennessee, large hail up to apple size, and at least 4 tornadoes. More than 500 people gathered for a prayer vigil on Thursday after news about Asher's tragic accident spread through the community, according to the school district. You know, it's a terribly sad thing, but seeing all these people get together to to surround this family, regardless of, had they ever met this little boy or not, that is beautiful. There are some really dark times in life. There are really dark, but there are people there that are holding candles that will get you out of there. The school district posted over a dozen photos of community members and friends holding up signs with Asher's pictures saying prayers for Asher on Facebook. They prayed, held each other, and reflected as they supported the family as strongly as Asher is fighting for his life. Quote, thank you to the 500 plus community members who attended Thursday's prayer vigil for RCS Director of Schools, Dr. Jimmy Sullivan, and his family as Asher Sullivan continues to fight for his life, the school district wrote in the Facebook post. Please keep the family and Asher's care team in your thoughts and prayers in the days ahead. So it is just awesome to me that people who don't even know this family, people came from all around just to give this family a little hope, a little comfort, and really just focus on them and keeping them strong as they go through this. So, you know, there are dark times, but there are also so many people that are lighting that are candles in the night, and they lead you into the light. It really does. In our final story, uh, because we needed a pick me up, a local firefighter adopted a dog that he rescued from the deceased owner's home. So I'm so glad that this pupper's got a new owner, and I can imagine that he misses his human, but he has a new human. And I love these kind of stories because we need some of these stories sometimes. And uh, Jeffrey Montgomery, that is really good. Keep talking to him. Let him know you want to wake up. Don't talk bad about bad things and opinions within earshot. Remember, the earshot of children is much wider than adults. You are correct. I mean, I can only imagine how difficult this is for the family, but I am sure they are just praying and praying for a miracle. A firefighter has added a four-legged friend to his life after handling a very tough assignment. Firefighter James Trunson recently adopted a terrier named Martha after helping to rescue the dog from her previous owner's home. The 52-year-old Mullen Community Fire Station firefighter in Cornwall, England, was among those called to assist the Helston Community Fire Station when he found a woman who had passed away inside her home. Quote, we had the job of removing the decedent from the property, and then I myself had the job of getting the dog out, he told Fox News Digital. This puppy's like, I'm going on a fire truck. I'm leaving with you. You are my new person. I'm telling you, Elon Musk, the world needs Neuralink for puppers so they can all have the Doug voice, and they're just like, "You are my new human now. Give me bacon." Look, the world needs this. I'm just saying. In the April 2024 incident, Trudson said he found the 8-year-old dedicated companion dog named Martha who never left her owner's side. What a good puppers. Quote, the little terrier took quite a bit of persuading to come to me, but eventually she just jumped into my arms, he said. With no next of kin for the dogs, Trunson suggested taking her to the same adoption agency where he had adopted a collie named Merlin 4 years earlier. But we were always looking for a companion for Merlin, so the police said to have this one as long as it was okay with the RSPCA, he said. After taking her to an RSPCA for a vet visit, Trunson officially became a dog dad twice over. I love it. Trunson and his fiancee Mel have 4 children between them. They have been farming at the Cullenberg farmhouse in Cornwall, England for nearly 40 years before purchasing it 3 years ago. There they farm beef cattle, and Trounson also works as a builder in his free time. Trounson said Martha, quote, has completely taken to him and never leaves his side. What a good puppy. Quote, "She rides around in the tractor as if it were second nature and loves it," he told Fox News Digital. As for how Merlin is getting along with Martha, Trunson said the two dogs get along great, noting that even his two cats love her. Martha has completely settled down in her new home, and I'm so glad to have been able to offer that to her, he said. The Helson Community Fire Station posted on social media about the occurrence on Facebook and said that Martha is one very happy dog. The fire station added, "Out of tragedies, sometimes there is happiness." So there you go. Well, I mean, there oh, what is it? According to Hitchhiker's Guide, Arthur Dent learned to speak bird, and all they talk about is worms and wind and weather. I'm sure dogs would talk about squirrels and smells. I'm not sure we would want to hear something like, "Oh, your butt smells fantastic today." Well, I mean, if it does, it does. Anyhoozle, I'm glad we got to end on a happy note. Just a reminder, on Wednesdays, I don't do nightly newsy news. I will be sending you guys over to Baker's, where the Karen Reed court case is in full, steam ahead. I will probably be joining Marissa and possibly Valhalla over there and Jamie after I rotate laundry because it seems like no one can notice dirty clothes on the floor. Anyhoozle, have a wonderful day. Don't invite Sal or Manila in your home. So don't lick that, end or don't lick that brownie batter spatula. Have a great day, guys. Bye.